On today's show, we're going to talk about Michael Porter Jr., what he had to say on the Austin Rivers podcast. A lot of interesting stuff. And then we're going to ask who's going to take the biggest leap on the Nuggets next season. Is it going to be Michael Porter, Peyton Watson, somebody else? We'll talk about all of that on the DNVR Nuggets Podcast.
Baby.
This is always so awkward.
No, you have to say, oh, here we go. Let's go.
Oh, real Thursday energy here. Real Thursday energy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Oh, an air horn from the hallway. We are
the night shift is here.
In the Toyota Lounge.
The night shift has arrived.
Toyota Store, Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. I'm Harrison Wynn hosting today. That's Adam Mara's not hosting today.
Man, it feels great to not be hosting. This feels incredible. It's almost like
nice not hosting.
It's like a half day off. You know, it's not a full day off, but it's kind of like a half day off.
Yeah. Well, hope you don't bring that same energy to the show.
I can't wait for it.
Over here, I got D-Line.
That's right, guys. What can I say? I don't have any energy. No energy. I like to call that Thursday energy.
All right.
Do you have any stories for us today?
Probably. Let me think about it just a little bit.
Okay, come up with some good ones. And over there, we got Brendan Vogt.
I never sit in this seat. It feels very weird.
Yeah, it's like misshapen.
Yeah.
Dev and I have done work over here.
We really have to work on
Is this the
freezing
story you're referencing?
Yeah.
What's that?
Is this the story you want to tell us?
No, I mean, just Dev and I put time, hours,
Yeah, you
miles,
put a lot of
effort,
hours in that couch.
passion.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to know why it's so misshapen, watch our watch-alongs.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Well, we put a lot of time in on this set over the last couple of years. Guys, we got a fun show coming up today. I don't know if you guys tuned into Austin Rivers' podcast on The Ringer. Michael Porter Jr. was on there.
That's why I tuned
last
in.
week or something, or earlier this week.
You weren't just listening, Adam? You
Not
didn't
just for
catch
Austin
it?
Rivers.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love him, but
yeah, thought he had some interesting things to say, so we'll talk about that. Is there something going on with Altitude and the Nuggets, getting them back on TV? It feels like a lot of people are hinting that. Also, we're going to talk about who might take the biggest leap with the Nuggets this next season, and maybe if we have time, we'll get to the new coaching hires around the league. First, though, let's talk about Michael Porter Jr. on this Austin Rivers pod. What did you think of it? You liked it.
I honestly loved it. And as like Michael Porter's arc as a character on this team has been so fascinating because, you know, first of all, I thought it was funny. Everybody kept talking about he didn't say anything controversial, which I kind of laugh at because that's the reputation. But the truth is, the last 4 or 5 times I've seen Mike on a podcast, I found him to be incredibly thoughtful, introspective, and humbled, humble.
Sure.
You know, like, and that's what
Adam has no idea what that
Literally
means.
didn't even know.
I don't know why I had a hard time with that.
Because you have to like generally apply it to your own life,
Yeah.
which is
I don't know if I've ever felt this one before, but it's something like
it's like when I'm like, I feel happy.
No, but that's how I like. He talked a lot about the difficulties of, you know, reducing his own role and not taking a shot. Gets teased a little bit of a guy that'll take bad shots, and he's like, "Yeah, man, like it's hard not to." So to me, I really like Mike more and more as time goes on. I just find him to be more like authentic.
Well, what I love about Mike when he's talking to the media and whatnot, he's a great quote because he'll always kind of just tell it how it is.
Yeah.
And it's bitten him in the ass before.
Totally.
Like that Clippers series in the bubble when
They talked about that too.
they did. And like he was right, but he probably didn't say it in the right format. Like he probably should have said that in the locker room. But he always tells it as it is. And that's kind of what comes out on this podcast. What do you guys think of it?
I mean, I thought the same thing. I mean, that has been like the peeling of the onion that is Michael Porter Jr. has been one of the more interesting things that has come from following this team long term. I mean, obviously, we bring this up all the time. I think it's hilarious. Like his first act in Denver, Colorado was hustling a one of our listeners out of their graduation
$1,000
present.
pair of
There was an
Jordans.
earnestness to that.
There really was an
was an earnestness
But
to it.
point being, you're like all, whoa, who is this guy? And then, but as time goes on, he's humbled. He couldn't
have let him just keep the
Humbled?
shoes.
He's humbled.
He couldn't have let him just keep the
But
shoes.
point being, like, he's just, like he has been given a set of circumstances that have required that he be a little bit more mindful, introspective, think about what his place is on this earth, like potentially having the thing that defines him the most taken away. And so I actually feel the way that you do. It's just like, and the more that you learn about Mike and what his values are and, the way he was raised and how that permeates his actions, he's like a very charitable guy. He spends a lot of his time, involved in things that you wouldn't expect like the average young NBA player to be involved in. And plus he has like turmoil, this, that, and the other. He's just like a complete character now. Like he started off early on as the Denver Nuggets is like a very shallow character, but as the screenplay has gone on, you're like, man, there's a lot of levels to this guy. So I agree with you. It's like he is able to laugh at himself. He's able to be, like braggadocious. It's like all the whole story. So it's cool. I agree with you.
Yeah, well, first of all, it turns out that people aren't complete as teenagers. There's some. There's learning to do about them, but there's also growing to do on their end, of course.
But even relative to other teenagers, though, he was kind of a funny one.
Oh, no doubt about it. But I guess my point being, like, it's not even that people were like wrong about who Porter was necessarily. It's just that he grew up like everyone
changed,
else
yeah.
does. Yeah. He'll answer any question, and I think that's really cool. And I think the only questions he doesn't like answering, he will answer. I don't think he likes constantly reflecting on his back pain. Like, I think he gets a little tired of like another
What were you
question.
thinking during the second surgery?
Yeah, like, or how does it feel right now? Like, I don't think
Right.
he wants to live in that place. But Porter will answer just about any question you ask him if it's in good faith, and it's part of what makes him such a good podcast guest. Come on the DNVR show, Michael Porter Jr.
And
I
listen,
digress.
I personally, I had septoplasty.
What?
I had to have my
Nose, nose
I had a
job?
deviated septum, and I get sick and tired of everyone always asking me about my septoplasty that I had years ago.
Same, man.
Yeah.
It's like
I
it
mean, the
doesn't
fact that
define
you're
you.
able to talk an hour straight about the Nuggets after that is
Well, that's why I
remarkable.
brought it up. He and I use my nose, as you understand if you're listening to my voice, quite a lot. So it's
I
the
mean,
same thing.
it's a real it's a real story of legends, man. It's a real inspiring act. here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I'm inspired. But even like the back surgery and stuff, he'll still talk about it and give like really thoughtful
will.
answers about it.
He will.
And I mean, by now we've watched Michael Porter Jr. grow up in Denver. How old was he when he got here? 19. Now he's 25 or so.
It's
Yeah.
a significant 6-year
Yeah.
period in one's life.
Yes.
Yeah. But even like the back surgery stuff, like he'll still talk about that, and he seems at peace with it all.
It is funny too, though, when you talk about some of the repetitiveness is not even like I'm sick of talking about this negative thing about me. Sometimes I can think it for these athletes, it's just boring.
Yeah,
because, and I say this because, and people are going to read too much into this, but this time of year, you get invited on podcasts to do a thing, and it's always like, what do you think of Russell Westbrook? And, it's the same kind of questions. And for me, I talk for a living, so I don't mind it as much. But I can't imagine like athletes that are like, again, it's hard to take
dude,
the
when-
third seed in a thing.
When Vlatko Chanchar came on this, very sad, and I was like, I gotta ask it. What's it like playing with Luka and Jokic? And he's like, I'll tell you one more time. And I was like, come on, man.
I really want to know that.
actually hilarious.
Well, it's like when every new player gets to Denver, every question is just like, so what do you think of Jokic?
Yeah, so true.
It's pretty good, right?
I know.
But
Pretty
that's where I think there's something like at Denver, it's still pretty minimal, right? Like you
Yeah.
play alongside James Harden or Kyrie or Kevin Durant. That is your life.
Yeah.
Kyrie tweets something. You have to answer for it.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, this is annoying.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I do. By the way, like thinking that players like kind of have to answer the questions because they signed that contract. That's one thing. But as Adam pointed out, I can certainly understand.
Oh, yeah.
Being frustrated and exhausted with this.
Also, a couple of things I loved, because he was both, again, introspective and humble and all these different things. But at the same time, he did hold on to certain things. Like, yeah, I think I could shoot more. And yeah, during that Clippers series, I guess I shouldn't have said it, but I was right. Like, I kind of love that he has he's still confident enough to be emboldened on some of the things that I think he, quite frankly, is right on. And even Austin Rivers teased him about his shot selection. And he's like, look, man, I'm a shooter. And he even had the line, which is totally arrogant, but also not, where he's like, I think a contested shot for me is better than an open shot for some guys.
Once again, he's right.
He's right.
Yeah. Well, he even talked about the play, and Austin Rivers asked him about the Michael never swing the rock Porter Jr.
I love that he sees that,
And MPJ is just very, very aware of this.
Yeah.
And they were even talking about some of the plays where he didn't swing the rock, and he brought up, like, probably a better shot for me than somebody else. And he talked about one play. I put this in the Slack last night. It was a pass to Facu Campasso a couple years ago.
I remember this.
He gets the ball and he's about to fall out of bounds, and he does like a 360 jump, and he looks like he wants to shoot it. But then at the last second, pass to Facu actually hits the three.
Yeah.
But I just loved his transparency on stuff like that.
I love him going, for the record, yes, I did consider shooting that.
And you can tell he looks at the rim. He does a 360, then looks at the rim.
Hey, man, Jokic isn't passing the ball to Mike and saying, like, yeah, make that read.
Yeah.
He's passing the ball to Mike and saying, like, shoot it now. And there is growth, by the way, and Mike does touch on this a little bit. There is some growth within that, but there's also something to just like, look, man, I am not here. The same way that a contested shot for Mike is better than an open shot for some guys, like Mike making a read and a pass is like, it's probably just better for him to shoot it half the time. And they're okay with that, and he's encouraged to do it. It's why he's on the floor so much. So.
I would liken it to this. Like, any muscle you work out is going to get bigger, right?
Okay.
Well, they say, I don't know. But Mike has worked out the shoot the ball muscle of his brain. He's worked that out 1,000 times more than, say, Christian Braun has.
Sure.
But Christian Braun has probably worked out the cut hard here or screen hard here muscle. Yeah. And Mike's like had to balance those things, and I think that's part of what makes Mike awesome, is that he actually is doing, in my opinion, a pretty good job for he has designed himself to be one type of player and has been forced to become another one, and he's doing a pretty good job of adjusting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to that, he talked about his role a lot, because Austin Rivers was teasing him about his assists, and he was like, look, guys in my role, and he talked about some other shooters around the league, it's not like they're averaging more than 1.5 or 2 assists per game. And then he said his goal next season is to go from 1.5 to 2 assists. That's a good jump, he said.
I love it. I think that's reasonable. Anything more than 2 is just like first of all, probably not going to happen.
But it's his role to shoot it.
Right, exactly. I loved who he comped himself to I like this comp of Keegan Murray, which is a comp that I have been kind of throwing out there for a while of like, that's just who that's a great, like that is an effective 17-point per game guy who can shoot really well, who's probably not making a ton of reads, but you like what he does for the spacing, and when he catches it, you want him to shoot it. Maybe a little soft at times, maybe not the most dynamic athlete. For Porter, it's after the surgeries, but I just think that there are a lot of expectations are funny because Porter has this name and the contract. I think for some people it's, well, why isn't he an all-star? Whereas those same people might watch Keegan Murray play basketball and go, that guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, man, that's what Porter is. And, Denver needs some of it. Is he overpaid in a vacuum? Yes. But has he provided value to Denver in that role? Absolutely.
Yep. This is what always comes down to the relative versus absolute value of basketball players. It like derails certain parts of the fan base's ability to see clearly as to what the player actually means to the team. It's like they get this, it should be this. This is like we went through this with Paul Millsap. It was like, yes, he makes more than he should.
Yeah.
Yes, he's super valuable to the Nuggets. No, they don't have anyone else to give the money. It doesn't matter. Like Michael Porter Jr. is one of the big reasons we got the championship. How quickly we forget.
Isn't it like with the Jedi? You guys remember Star Wars? Isn't
Yeah,
it with
I remember.
Hell yeah,
guys,
dude.
let Adam cook. He's
Yeah,
locked
hold on
in.
a second. Isn't it like one of the things you have to learn is how not to use
Oh,
your
yeah,
power?
dude.
I
Right.
feel like that was Michael Porter these last 2 years. Is he had to learn how not to do it so that now he
or
can
like in
use
Harry
it.
Potter, same kind of deal.
Oh, yeah,
Unironically, well done.
Thank you.
Yep, well done.
That reminds me of Dune. I'll tell you how later.
Last thing on this podcast, MPJ loves playing the hits whenever he goes
Oh
on
my
podcasts.
God.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. So do
He
we.
retold the
Yeah, come
story.
on.
Michael Porter Jr. come play the hits on our fucking podcast.
By
Come on,
now
our
he's
show.
a professional podcaster.
Yeah.
So like he knows the
He
deal.
knows what's up.
Oh, that's a problem. Then.
He
If you wanna
retold
come-
the story about how Mason Plumlee played well at training camp and Joker didn't play that well.
Yep.
He retold the story about the Clippers doctor writing the report about how he would never play in the league. What I thought was interesting, though, he said Steve Ballmer went to all his games in high school in Seattle
Yeah.
and wanted him on the Clippers
Yeah.
with those two picks.
Oh, I'm sure if you went to those games, you definitely wanted him on your team.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's
scoring like 50 points a game.
Yeah, he doesn't miss.
Yeah, I want the number one recruit in the country on my team.
Yeah. He plays the hits like any professional podcaster does.
We all do, baby.
Yeah.
I like the hits, although I don't like that hit. The Mason Plumlee one, because there's a part of me that I just want to be like, I know what he's saying, and I think he's actually right. But
Right.
at the same time,
Yeah.
come on.
Shouldn't you have like had a thought
Yeah.
that like Jokic was pretty good?
There's a better way to make the same point. Without making yourself.
I love it.
I just can't. There's no way Mason Plumlee looked better. They're just not.
Dude, the old photo of him at
You
the
see
foul line
two
while Yoke showed up to
behind
sign
the
his
back
mags.
dunks.
Yeah.
I promise Mike in that thought is like, who's this guy?
Mason Plumlee is
he on
yamming
the
it from
team?
behind 2 times in a row. My other great part about this is that everyone involved in this ecosystem is tired of each other. We're tired of hearing his same answers. He's tired of hearing
I
the same
actually
questions.
need more on Mason Plumlee at training camp. I need a full play-by-play
Yeah.
breakdown.
Well, I
of
want to hear
what
about Mason
happened.
Plumlee getting like very existential and like wanting to leave the bubble and just like realizing that maybe basketball wasn't for him.
Oh, okay.
Like 8 years ago or whatever.
Yeah,
It was.
that'd be nice to get some closure on that.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Let's hit a break. On the other side, is Altitude hinting at something with the Nuggets?
Oh my
Man.
I don't know. We'll talk about it.
I'll hint at something. You know what? I'll do better than hint at it. I'll state it explicitly.
Okay.
If you want a light beer, you got to get the original light beer. You got to get the best light beer. What kind of beer is that, producer Tiff? I'll put the graphic on the screen.
Booyah.
It's Miller Lite, baby.
Dude.
A lot's changed over the years. One thing that hasn't, the great taste of Miller Lite. It was the original light beer, Eric. And as my dad and his dad and his dad used to say, they actually originated this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Really?
Yeah. This actually, on our end, it was a lazier. Most of those things
They were
were
like
broken. They
You're
just
like, the
didn't want
car's
to get it.
broke.
Yeah.
He's like, I still don't want to fix
Yeah,
it.
I'm like, someone should get around to fix. I think that's broken. That's not the
still
point.
don't wanna fix it.
The Miller Lite beer formula is not broken. It
Dude.
never has been. Many have tried. Many have failed to emulate what Miller Lite has going on. More of the taste you want, less of the stuff you don't. It's that simple. It pairs well with Nuggets wins, pairs well with Nuggets losses, pairs well with off-season talk, pairs well with on-season talk. Times change, but you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/DNVR. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces.
Also going to tell you guys about Bet365. You know them. They're never ordinary. Phenomenal sports betting app. There are 2 days or 2 weeks of the year that are better than this week to hop on Bet365. The Super Bowl week.
Yep.
March Madness, that
Sure.
first weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the best
This
week.
ranks number 3.
Really?
Week 1 of the NFL. Now, why might you ask?
It's a great
Football
great
guy.
call.
Everybody's a football guy. Everybody in America is a football guy.
He's
but
a hard-nosed better, dude.
I'm telling you guys right now, you want to go with the
Smash
Dolphins.
mouth
You want to
betting
take
over
no. Here's the thing.
He's right, though.
They're right. And if you hop on right now, do you know what you're going to see on the front page? 1,000 different odds boosts. Not really
Yes.
1,000, but a lot of them. Because whenever a new season starts, especially a football one, there's always these great deals. They have lots of, you can make a parlay. You can bet on literally every single game coming up this Sunday if you really feel that confident that you know how football season is going to unfold. Or you can just do like I did and throw down a little cash on Bo Nix. He's going to have himself a great debut for our Denver Broncos.
I have already bet for the Broncos to make the playoffs.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
It's aggressive, but you know what? F it. That's what we do
You
in
know what
week
happens
one.
every year in the NFL? Somebody goes
that?
worst to first. Every single year.
Well, we're going to be first now. Hold on.
Why not our bodacious Broncos?
Why not
You know,
them?
we
So
So-
what are you betting tonight?
Who's playing?
There you go.
It's the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Chiefs.
There you go. I don't know. Right now, new customers
Football
can
guy.
choose between 2 offers when they open an account at Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 to sign up and deposit $10 and choose between these two. You can bet and get offer and place a bet of $5 or more and get $200 in bonus bets, or your first bet safety net offer by placing a bet up to $1,000. And if your qualifying bet loses, you receive a matched refund and bonus bet. So you can determine, are you going to bet a lot on that first one and get a big payday, or are you going to play it safe and you get that no sweat $200 bonus. So check it out. Use that code DNVR365.
All right, back here on the DNVR Nuggets
Let's
podcast.
go.
We're in the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Got the fellas with me. I want to remind you guys, we're hosting a 3-on-3 tournament October 5th at the Basketball Social House.
You didn't
I
like
will
my
be
tweet
there.
today, huh? You didn't. I noticed you did not like it.
I
didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was good. It was funny.
Well,
That
what
funny.
was it?
It was a little rib.
Oh, interesting.
He took a shot at you in the form of a Nuggets reference. You're gonna like it.
It was a fun one. Do you remember
Sounds
that play
great.
where
Were you
Jokic
comping
throws
me to
it,
a player?
swings it to Millsap, Millsap swings it to Jamal, beautiful, Jamal airballs it?
Oh, shit.
That's me, you, and Dev.
Well, I'm coming out of retirement for this game.
Hell yeah.
I'm
They
going
have a
into- I'm going
four-pointer. Do you know they have a four-pointer?
I'm
in
going
3 on
into-
3?
yeah.
I'm just staying at the 4-point line.
I'm going to extra
or
retirement
4-point
for this.
mark.
Can I tell you, there's nothing more tempting than the 4-point line. It's the most tempting thing in basketball.
Dude, Adam Silver introducing a 4-point line would be the death of
It
the
really
NBA.
would.
Porter would never dribble.
Porter would never move. They're like,
Yeah.
cut. He's like, I'm at
He's
the
like, no, this
four.
is
He'd
good.
360 jump into a
He was like,
4-pointer.
I don't understand. I was wide open for that 4-point shot, 30 or 50 feet from the basket.
We've already had some teams sign up, though. So if you want in, if you've got a team, I think it's $50, thednvr.com. You can sign up there under the events tab. If you just want to drop in as a free agent, you can do that as well.
Yeah, dude, if you want
October
to
5th.
sit and crack wise with me in the bleachers.
Yeah, just come hang out.
If you just want to watch people do stuff and just make fun of them while they're doing it and then make it seem like you could do better but not give any sort of indication,
Yeah.
that's what I'll be doing.
It's going to be a fun time.
That actually sounds nice.
Yeah, I know, dude. That's what we do on this podcast.
Yeah,
every
oh, yeah,
day.
that's
We're
right,
like,
yeah.
oh, man, Zeke Najee can't shoot.
Oh, that's why it feels so good. You know what I mean? I can't either. Well, at least I have more money than he does.
Yeah, you win again.
Before we get to who might take the biggest leap for the Nuggets next season, I don't know if you guys have been on Twitter. Is there something going on with altitude and the Nuggets and games getting on TV? A friend of the show, Vic Lombardi, tweeted soon when asked about any news on Nuggets TV. There's the Altitude TV account tweeting some suspicious stuff about
What if it's just
something
like,
potentially happening.
If it's a logo change, I'm going to lose my mind.
what if he's hitting at like he's like, soon my next Twitter firestorm is coming to yell at everybody that wants.
I mean, if Vic is saying this, there's got to be something happening.
Can we make
Copy.
can I make a prediction here?
Yeah.
Because news just came out that
Crunchy
Comcast is creating a new, I believe what we call fast channels, right? This new like type of channel. We obviously have one now for, is it CHGO and PHLY?
Yes. And
Soon to be DNVR.
Soon to be
Yes.
us too.
So we have these as well. I have a feeling that Comcast is that they're going to be back on Comcast, but not in the way that they were previously like actually on Comcast. That it's this other thing, and so I have a feeling that it will be a new option to people, but one that will probably require them to be on Comcast. I don't know this. I'm not reporting this. I'm just piecing together 2 dots and tying a line there that might not tie, but that's my guess.
Something is definitely happening, though.
Here's my thought is that I have Fubo and I don't care. You guys can.
This
If
is
you
the
still-
truth.
What if they're not available on
If
Fubo
you still
anymore?
don't have access to the Nuggets, this is a deep.
I'm sure
this
they will
is
be.
something you need to look inward for.
So here's the thing, though, Eric, is this is what I have felt about this entire situation is that, yes, there are DirecTV streaming, there's Fubo, there's these different ways to get them. And this is going to be another one that
another
is
way.
available, but different. And I think people just want to be upset about this, where it's like, guys, the whole world sucks now. Have you not noticed? Like,
I know.
Right.
everything's terrible.
every all that happens is we go to new.
Yeah, it's like gas
cities.
is never going back to $2
Yeah.
a gallon.
Except in Texas, where it's
Right.
But when we just go to different cities, and everyone's like, "Man, this dispute between Comcast."
Oh,
and,
yeah, every
Yeah.
network.
Right.
and yeah, Ziploc.
The point
Plus
is like you got to attempt solutions. So if this is an attempted solution, another way to try and watch, like good, obviously, of course, good. But I'm with you. Like it's a little, it almost feels like at this point,
What are you doing?
You either have a solution or you don't, but we've also watched the rest of the,
Yeah,
of the
man.
landscape.
We're just not
kinda
going back
sink.
to the old days where you had the bunny ears and you got everything.
It's just cable's
I wish
dead.
we were.
Yeah.
Cable's dead. You
It'd
don't
be nice.
realize it yet.
The old days were nice.
The zombie corpse of Cable.
Can I make an
maintains,
organic
but-
plug?
Yes.
So there's something that is kind of, I mean, I do like having access to like almost everything digitally. That is very cool. I also did like scrolling TV and seeing stuff that was on.
Totally.
And
You can still do that.
So I do want to know, but so Roku Live TV has the scroll function. So I've kind of been doing that just to see if I like am not aware of an event that's on or whatever. And I keep seeing the PHOI and CHGO things. I'm like, this is so dope. And
Yeah.
I literally actually I just moved in. I was doing laundry listening to a rerun of a PHOI pod. I was like, this is sick.
And you're
on
just
live TV,
angry.
just
You're like,
scrolling.
Embiid, really? And you fold.
You guys like that? That was good.
Yeah.
right?
Well, I
like
was
that,
wondering if you're going to drop a girl,
I know. I thought we
girlfriend
were hoping,
reference.
man. We were hoping. You were gonna
Didn't
say.
come today. We'll try again tomorrow. No, I mean, I'm curious to see what this looks like. I'm sure people will be very tempered with their reactions to this, though.
I think the people that are mad at everything are going to really hate this.
But the funny again, before this happens, and you get
It
mad.
will probably be a good thing in the aggregate.
But the thing, there's like this idea that needs to be shaken free that somehow Comcast cable is the official truth.
Right.
That we have to
Right.
get back to
Right.
the official
Way to do it.
And
We're
it's
not
like-
getting back to that.
No, and not only
That's
that,
gone.
like that's the
It's
most,
not coming back.
That's the most crooked, terrible company ever, and you're actually been freed from that. Like before,
Yeah.
there were 0 options, and now there's been 8 million ways to backfill to get around this. And I've not written a check to Comcast, Xfinity, in a very long time, and it feels great.
Yeah. I mean, why worry about that when you can just watch Industry on HBO?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Why worry about that? Guys, let's talk about guys who might take the leap for the Nuggets next season.
D-line.
Yeah, I mean,
We can talk about a couple before our next
I'm going to
break
watch
here.
one other team this year.
I'll go to you first, Vote on this.
Oh no.
Can Michael Porter Jr. take a leap? And what would that look like, in your opinion, if he did? Because there are a lot of candidates of guys that could take a quote-unquote leap. Michael Porter, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun, we'll get to them. But for MPJ, could it happen? What would it look like?
I think it would have to follow a rotation shakeup because I think it would sort of be about more minutes in which he's a more enticing option, right? So that's that's not just chained to Murray and Jokic where they can almost always find a good shot and then sometimes Mike is open. Can he be the key to helping the bench be better? Now, we've had this conversation in a lot of different forms, right? There's a limit on what that looks like. Like Porter is not going to put the ball on the floor and make plays. Like it's just, even if he had a different timeline of reps with the ball in his hand, he just probably isn't that guy. But can he and the team do a better job of not just you're wide open here in transition, but we designed this action to get you open. And you took the cut, you took the right angle on the screen. Your footwork was disciplined. You moved a lot off ball. You made yourself open. You made yourself available. Doing that, I think, without Jokic on the floor is the best way you can see Mike kind of help the Nuggets more without having to like this foundational shakeup that we think is unlikely to who he is as a player, if that makes sense.
So you think it's more having to do with who he's playing with, when he's playing, what lineups he's with,
Yes.
as
More-
opposed to like his actual skill set.
Yeah, like more usage, but not just all the time. Like
Right.
I'm not saying you have to force the ball to Mike, but just could he help this lineup more? So, I think there are maybe ways where you can find it without having to ask him to change who he is.
Yeah.
What do you think, Eric?
I don't know how much of a leap is available for Michael Porter Jr. at this point. Like, I think that he can get maybe a little bit more efficient. He can work on small things, but I kind of think we know who he is at this point. Like, when I'm thinking about somebody taking a leap, it's like second year to third year players, first year to second year players. Like, the leap players that I'm looking at, like the number one guy is Christian Braun. Like, we're looking at him to be a very big replacement for a very big player in KCP. Like, and we need to see him be reliable in ways that he's been like sort of novel in the Nuggets offense where it's like, oh, wow, he hit a three. That was cool. Weren't expecting that. Oh, he cut. Oh, he got a really tough rebound. Oh, this, that, or the other. He played hard-nosed defense. He was actually able to contain someone at point of attack. All that stuff that we weren't really counting on him for because he had a pretty up and down season last year, but then I feel like he crescendoed. And we just want to see him make that next leap because, I mean, frankly, the Nuggets are very, very reliant upon him at this point. Like, he is the fifth piece of the starting unit, which is, as we saw, finding that fifth piece to plug in was the difference between making it to the second round and being the champion of the NBA.
Yeah.
And so I just to put a bow on it, I think Mike can always be better because he's so brilliantly talented, and there's always a way to find in a schematic way and an X and O way for him to be more optimized. But I'll be surprised if there's ever oh my God, dude. There was that week, 2 weeks after the All-Star break this last year. It was holy.
Turned it,
We're my God, dude. Michael Porter Jr. is on a tear. And then
a statement week.
It ebbed a little bit. It flowed a little bit. If he could be, I mean, it's the same thing with Jamal. These two guys that flank Nikola Jokic, you're man, if they could be the best versions of themselves,
just live there.
This is the Warriors. We are the Warriors.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I want to see Browntown, man.
Here's the thing though with MPJ, just really quickly. If he gets an opportunity with the bench, it is an area where does he grow as a player? I don't know, but is it a new opportunity? And that, to me, I'm with you guys. I don't know that he's going to change who he is, but a new opportunity might highlight more of what he is, and that's what I would look for him this year.
All right, let's hit another break. We'll talk about this more on the other side. Who else?
Do you know what I think would help
might
him,
be
though,
taking
just
a
quickly?
lead?
Being my friend, a guy I call. I have a flat
Play
tire.
really worked
play
for me.
some video games against NBA 2K maybe.
Dude, I mean, Fat Lever knows he can be testimonials.
I'm like
He's a
Mike.
personal
I'm like
good
Mike.
friend.
Me and Fat are at good times. Do you want me to order you some sliders? I'll do it.
First of all, dude, if you're going to good times with Fat Lever and Mike, can I come? What's up, bro?
Oh no,
No, I'm not invited.
no,
Unbelievable.
You're especially not invited.
That seems
Tiff, you want to go? You're
that seems
invited.
silly to me. Well, I don't think Game Time sells tickets to that particular event. I might have to sit that one out, but I don't really have to sit out a lot of events these days, including the very best ones, including the ones that I didn't think I was going to go to right up until the last second. Thanks to Game Time, which is the best place to buy the best seats at the last second for the best price. They've also got a new feature now called Game Time Picks. Makes getting tickets for your favorite live events easier. This is just a filter service, folks. I think the most with the myriad places online where it feels like you can get tickets, it can be very overwhelming. Am I getting the right deals? Do I have to double check this?
Get off the dark web, people.
Dude, just go right to Game Time and use the Game Time Picks filter, and you're gonna find the best deals only. And you certainly don't have to stress your selection process there.
Dude, look at EL. Why do they always bully Vogt?
Why do they always?
I'll take this.
I wonder what that
He
was in
deserves
reference
it.
to.
All right, go ahead.
Game Time's also the easiest ticketing app to use.
Strong agree.
Like, it has the best interface. It's the cleanest one.
Strong agree. It's really, really. So, I mean, it can really be that easy. Like, oh, this concert's here tonight. Oh, the Nugs are playing tonight. I forgot to get a ticket. My boys are in town. My friends are in town. Let's pull up Game Time. There might be great seats for a great price. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it?
Miller time.
Game time?
Oh, game time.
Good guess. That's a good guess, Ron.
You guys know me well enough to know that after a night of drinks, I don't bounce back like I used to.
dude.
You guys have been around me after a night of
I've
drinks.
noticed before a night of drinks,
Well,
you can't really bounce back.
Even
It's
during
really
a night of
just the
drinks, to
night
be
of
honest with you, there's no moment where I feel like myself. But no, in all sincerity, I'm telling you right now, among all people, when I drink, I feel the least on my feet the next day. If I ranked everybody on how much they feel like they can get back on their feet the next day, I'm the least.
You're pretty low.
I'm pretty low, man. Everybody knows this. But I found a solution. There's a surefire way to wake up feeling fresh after a night of drinking, and it's with Z-Biotics pre-alcohol. Real quick, shout out to my wife. It's her birthday today.
Happy
40 years old.
birthday,
Shout
Sheila.
out.
Happy birthday to Sheila. So guess what that means this weekend? A little party, a little fiesta. All the friends and cousins come together. Guess what? We'll be drinking a lot, and I'm
I'll
going to
be
need
calling
to...
you bright and early the next morning.
Well, guess what? The next morning is football Sunday. I've got to be on my feet. I've got to be my
man.
best self. So what do I have?
For all
I have
that
that little...
betting you're doing.
that little 6-pack of Z-Biotics. It's really cool. Pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by a PhD scientist to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the
felt
gut. I feel that as well. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough day the next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break up this product. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. This is the key. Your
Okay.
first drink, then drink responsibly.
The base layer.
You'll feel your best
Bro,
tomorrow.
are you zipped up yet? Like, that's what we'll say to each other.
Yeah.
Don't start, bro. You zipped?
Yeah,
what
you
we
got to
say.
say.
Yeah.
Vacations, weddings,
You can say that
birthdays,
to each other. You
reunions.
guys
There's
want
so
to-
much going on. Get the most out of your summer plans by stocking up on pre-alcohol now. Go to zbiotics.com/DNVR Nuggets to get 15% off your first order when you use DNVR Nuggets at checkout. Pre-alcohol is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember
nice.
to head to zbiotics.com/DNVR Nuggets and use that code DNVR Nuggets at checkout for 15% off.
I've not gotten the chance to try this. I'm very, very interested. In this
Telling you, I
product.
got
I wanna try it
for
this
this whole
weekend.
weekend. I have it.
Yeah, I wanna try it.
Z-Biotics. Thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good times.
Let's go.
I need to try some this weekend. All right, back here on the DNVR Nuggets podcast. We're here in the Toyota Lounge. Shout out to everybody hanging out in the Toyota chat.
Beep, beep.
Damn it.
That was good.
Thanks, guys.
That was great.
Yeah,
sucked.
we're working on it.
Adam, who do you think is going to take the biggest leap out of everybody on the Nuggets next season?
If this is tough because like Strawther is the guy that should take the biggest leap because he has the lowest starting point.
Sure.
But I'm going to answer the spirit of the question here and just say it's Christian Braun for me. I honestly am just so confident in the season he's going to have. And more than that, I'm confident in what leap everybody takes when they play their minutes with Jokic as opposed to opposite him.
Yeah.
I think he's a Jokic ball player. I think he is over the first 2-year hump. I think it's a 2-year hump for a lot of guys that you get over to start to feel like you belong and feel comfortable. And so I think Christian Braun to me is the guy that we're going to look back and be like, yeah, that was a meaningful leap that he took.
It's so true that something that goes into everybody's leap, everybody that's had a leap on the Nuggets, is just playing with Nikola Jokic.
That's the simplest
You
argument.
know, Gary Harris's leap, came when he was playing with Nikola Jokic.
That's
Aaron
the
Gordon
argument.
sure made a leap.
Aaron Gordon looked pretty damn good.
We didn't know this was him.
A season playing next to Nikola Jokic, so that's going to help. And he's going to be playing. He's going to go from playing some of his minutes next to Nikola Jokic. Like, he was one of the first guys off the bench, but now he's going to be playing, if Michael Mullen sticks to relatively similar rotations, like 90% of his minutes next to Nikola Jokic?
Brother,
Malone,
I
hold
gotta
my
tell you,
beer.
man. I woke up today. You can see there's been some comments in the chat that we all, I guess, called each other and made sure that we matched.
Do we all match that?
long
Look at
sleeves
that.
today.
Long
Long
sleeves
sleeves.
today. There is a chill in the air. I got the
Felt
official
so good.
I got the official oh man,
I
I
feel
want to
like
watch some
everybody
ball.
did.
I wanna
Everybody
watch
woke
some
up and
ball,
decided
dude.
to declare
Clearly.
it's fall.
Yeah.
Bro,
But I wanna watch
I'm like
some ball,
cosplaying
dude.
fall. I wasn't even cold enough, but he's like, I'm doing long sleeves because
Yeah.
it's
Fun fact, it's 75 degrees. But I agree. Like, I felt the same way.
It like barely rained this morning, and everybody said it's fall.
It's football tonight, baby.
But I want
Screw
to.
it.
I really got the man. I want to watch some basketball tonight, and we still got a long ways. But the more I think about it, like I'm so excited for this upcoming season. There's so many questions. It's it's not just Hunter hunted. Can they repeat? Like the pieces are in place for this to be one of the most like volatile seasons.
Oh yeah.
And we could
Buckle
explode
up.
out the top, or we could absolutely just blow our own faces off. And I can't wait to find out what happens.
I'm glad you didn't say explode out the bottom.
Yeah, I did.
That's what you did.
I have some, whatever.
Yeah. So I think Christian Braun is in line for a big leap, but is there a chance that Peyton Watson is in line for a bigger leap in terms of like Christian Braun's already starting at a higher point than Peyton Watson right now, but it almost feels like to me that P-Watt has a bit of a higher ceiling and just can be accelerated to that ceiling a little quicker.
I think that logic is sound. He has a higher ceiling and he is starting from a lower starting point. So therefore, you would think there's more. Here's the question I ask before I can answer that one, which is, can Christian and Peyton both make a leap this year? And I hope I'm wrong on this, but I just think that would be really tough. I think it's more likely that one of them will make a leap, and Christian is the one that's most likely to be in that role.
I mean,
I hope it's both.
We are on the path. This is the true Project Dynasty, is like, these draft picks, can they hit in the way that Calvin Booth is anticipating, expecting, has talked about, has taken flack for, has been, sort of in the line of fire in some national perspectives about how he's been managing the team over the last 2 years. From the casual onlooker, it just feels like the Nuggets are just slowly deteriorating, losing players from their championship core. Bruce Brown, KCP, very big players, but as we know, we talk about daily, that was the plan. And so now we're going to, this needs to work, because this is a multi-year plan, and it doesn't work at all if the first part of it proves to be fraudulent. So, big year.
If Peyton Watson doesn't take a big leap, that's
what I mean.
That's probably not good news.
No, it's pretty damning for not only he, but
they
also
kind of
Calvin.
need him to take a huge jump.
100% need him to.
I kind of am of the feeling that his leap is a year away. And the Brown thing, it's so neat. He just slides right into place. They need him to be this 2 guard. Peyton, okay, he's off the bench, so maybe he gets to do a little more exploring in his role. But
P1 is in, if you think about it, pretty much the same exact situation in terms of rotation and depth chart as he was last year.
Yeah,
but that's exactly. So, but that's not what I mean. Is I don't think the door is wide open for him to now you get to go do this, that, and that. It's still gonna be find a way to fit in when you're alongside Jokic, and then when you're off the floor, I know you want to explore, but you're probably not gonna have the ball a ton either.
Well, this is like, what did you work on this summer? Did your skill set improve? Did you become a better basketball player?
Yeah.
Are you more committed to put the work in and do the things that aren't seen and take a million shots and all this stuff?
And what's your body look like? Part of me thinks Peyton is one of those guys that he's he's one of the guys that you would most recognize.
That was totally unnecessary.
I'm sorry, I misinterpreted your tone.
Young guys, in particular, young skinny guys, they show the most of he's starting to really grow into
Muscle
this
watch.
Yeah, big,
muscle.
big
He's the top
coming up for Muscle
He's the
Watch.
top Muscle Watch 2020 guy. Although I will tell you, in the photos we've seen, you know who Muscle Watch has stood out so far?
Who's
If you say Zeke, I'm gonna freak out.
No, Hunter Tyson.
Oh,
Just check out the thighs.
Well,
my guy has been doing squats all summer.
He is the hunter.
He is the hunter now. I think he might be able to take a bear.
The muscle hunter?
He's looking a little thick.
I'm loving that. I love that.
Looking like Mike Tyson with those thighs. You know what I'm saying?
Smokes.
Tiff, we're not live anymore, right? We just this whole segment.
Oh, we're
we
still
live
live.
at any
Yeah.
point.
Tiff's like,
God.
I'm never producing this show again. Strawther's the other guy.
Yeah.
The other obvious choice to make a leap. Friend of the show, Ryan Blackburn, tweeted out the depth chart to the Nuggets last night, I saw. It really highlighted that they have 4 guards, and that's it.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook, Christian Braun, and Julian Strawther.
Yeah.
Julian Strawther is in the opening night rotation. He has to be. You need to play 4 guards. There's, it's not like I don't think at least you're sliding anybody up from the 3 to play at that 2-guard spot off the bench. He's going to be in the rotation, I think. He's going to be tasked with the responsibility of shooting threes because Denver's losing some of that 3-point production from KCP. He's going to have to make some threes. There's going to be a decent amount of just responsibility on his shoulders, I feel like, starting on opening night.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. He has one thing at his back that is supremely important. 2 things. One, the depth. He has to play. So even if he's not good, he's
There's
no other choice. So you got to
choice,
play.
yeah.
But on top of that, and I don't want people to take this out of context or go too far with it. But Michael Malone likes him.
Yeah, agreed.
And Michael Malone clearly likes him by evidence of him saying he's the only guy I run plays for and those different things. And he played more. Like I thought he's, of all the young guys that have come through over the last like 4 or 5 years, he's the guy that most would have a bad game and still play. There's a lot of young guys where I'd be like, man, they're one mistake and now he's out.
Sure.
The Strawther would be like, well, he was
allowed to play through a lot of
four
mistakes.
consecutive mistakes he keep playing. Malone clearly likes him, and I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity. And I think that you're right that he's primed for a leap because of it.
The only thing is he needs to have a realized 3-point shot to have a leap. Like there's all the potential in the world, and there are these beautiful stretches of shooting, and then sometimes he'll just hit the top corner of the backboard. So it's getting that percentage closer to 40% as opposed to talking about potential for a leap is going to happen.
And I have to say, like, we went to Summer League, doesn't mean anything, sometimes means everything. He looked like the way that Quentin Grimes looked the second year in Summer League, where you're like, this guy shouldn't be here. He's way Julian Strawther had a commanding presence on that Summer League floor, which again means nothing but kind of means everything. Like has gotten over the wide eye way of looking at NBA speed basketball, and he can like command it, even though obviously he'll be playing against much higher level talent. But like, I mean, I just saw it. I was like, oh, wow, okay, this guy actually made a mental leap.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And I want to, someone right here, I think it's Bosco, he says, you can be player development focused or focused on winning chip. Really don't see any other way around it. The one thing I'll say is,
unless you have an amazing top 5.
One, I just don't think I buy that anyway. Tony Parker and the Spurs won in his second year. He was 20 years old. He was the starting point guard and one of the stars of the team. Manu Ginobili. It was
really young,
rookie
too.
season. He was 25, so he was a little bit older, but still his rookie season they win. So that's a team whose 2 of their top 4 guys in that season were either a rookie or a second-year player. That's way more than what you're talking about Denver, where we're talking about the 5th starter and bench guys. So I just don't know if I buy that narrative anymore about that.
I also don't think it is all like there's also only so much they can do. Like they did add I take the KCP thing out of it, right? So just in talking about adding pieces, they did add the ring chasing point guard. They did add a backup big that's a veteran who
A hilarious one.
I forgot about Saric.
So
It feels like everybody has.
don't get me wrong.
again.
Booth is still committed to his look. It's the guys we have under control need to work here and need to get better for us to have a chance at an extended window. Fine, but there was a little bit of and then also we're gonna go get this guy because it helps now. I understand feeling uncomfortable completely. I just don't. It wasn't that long ago that they won, and then last year they lost in a Game 7. I just think we got to wait until they fully sell on this before we're they're not even trying.
That's the thing. Listen, that's we are so squarely still in this window, and it's going to ebb and flow, and only one team can win every year, obviously. But the Nuggets are very much still a team that you could see very realistically hoisting the Larry O at the end of the season. I don't think anything has changed, and actually I like their chances better this year than I did last year, and we were very gung-ho on the fact that they were going to repeat, because we're idiots.
Yeah. Dude, with Strawther, man, he's going to have to play. He's going to have to be reliable, and like Vogt said, he's a quote-unquote shooter who had some ridiculously terrible misses last year. You don't usually see that out of guys who are quote-unquote shooters. But I believe in his shot. I believe it's going to be good. Quick story. I was out in California the last couple weeks.
You get kicked out of anything?
Well, one night at this great dive bar in Sierra Madre, shout out the Buck, I got into an argument with somebody who's going to have a better season, Julian Strawther or Max Christie. Very heated argument.
Was that with your wife?
When I was a Lakers fan, not my wife. But yeah,
Unbelievable.
I was arguing for Strawther, obviously.
You know what's funny about that very take, though, is that it's hilarious because it's Max Christie. But Julian Strawther is our Max Christie. And in August, in July, and even the first half of September, the Max Christies of the world feel like the story. But once you get to November, you're like, oh, yeah, that's our 8th guy. And he has bad nights sometimes when we win by 20, and it doesn't matter. And that's just the truth of it. It matters, but it matters way more in August and September than it should.
Yeah.
Man, I want to watch the Denver Nuggets.
We're almost there. Just like today had that crisp air and you wanted to put a hoodie on. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Here's the thing, like the finer points of the conversation are they going to win or not? And like, is the front office making the right? That's all like healthy, fair, and good discussion in what we do for a living.
But
there's
watch it,
just
baby.
you have to remind yourself, and we won't all remember it collectively until they start playing, that like there's so much better than whatever the worst nightmares are in our head right now.
Right,
There's so much better than that. And at the very least, we will have fun watching them win a lot of games.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to put it. Last thing I want to do on today's show, there's a lot of new coaches around the league. A lot. And so
Did you get hired this year?
I've got a list
No?
of the new coaches in the league. I believe there are 7 of them. And we're going to see if D-Line knows where they're coaching.
Okay. I'm excited to find out if I know too. Let's see.
I'm very excited as well. And we can kind of talk about if we like these guys or not. But can we get the first coach, Tiff, up on the board? The first coach is
our old pal.
Yeah, that's our
Jordy
old-
Fernandez.
Jordy Fernandez.
Where is he coaching?
Is he in Toronto?
No.
Okay. He coached for the Canadian national team. So
He's in
That was my-
Brooklyn.
That would have made sense.
Did he go to Brooklyn? Is that
went
where
to
he
Brooklyn,
went?
yeah.
Jordy Fernandez in Brooklyn.
He is in Brooklyn.
Interesting.
Tough job, like I'm not gonna lie.
That is a very
I'm,
tough
like,
Or
rooting
is it
for
the
Jordy.
easiest job?
Yeah, no expectation in
Zero
is the-
expectations. You have a lot of picks to work with. You have a lot of young guys.
I guess what I'm getting at is sometimes you get your all right. Wes Unseld Jr. Great example. Sometimes you get your beautiful head coaching opportunity, and then the team is terrible, and then it's like, well, am I going to get back in there, or am I now a front office consultant?
So I don't know this for a fact. This is an observation that I could be way off of. I don't feel great on it. But I think a lot of young coaches, they're elevate because they have great basketball minds. And I have only heard that he has a great basketball mind. But we know that coaching is so much more than that. It's a lot of like, how do I deal with these people? And sometimes you go to a team that has a LeBron or a Luka or this is just your first job, and that's hard. He's going to a team that has not a lot of guys that you probably have to concern yourself with.
You're right.
Cam Thomas.
Cam
That's probably it.
But even Cam Thomas, it's like, oh, you beefed with Cam Thomas. We have to get rid of Cam Thomas.
Yeah.
So he might be in a spot
counter.
where he could fumble his season there at that, and it's like, it doesn't matter. We're just getting rid of those guys. We're bringing in new guys anyway.
Yeah.
Good counter. And you know what? Like no one's looking at Brooklyn, like including possibly the owners.
Absolutely nobody.
Yeah. So
I literally just thought about it. I don't know who's on Brooklyn. I was like, yeah, he's got Mikal Bridges. No, he doesn't. He was
Cam
traded.
Johnson?
He's got Cam Johnson. Jesus.
Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson.
good players, but you got to start with
Christie.
like
Yikes.
good players.
Just kidding. I don't think he's
Who did
on.
they
I
get back
think he's on the
for
Clippers.
from the Knicks?
For Bridges?
Yeah. Did they just get a
Picks,
bunch
right?
of picks?
This is the time of year. You're right. Brooklyn is the perfect team for this guy. I feel like I could do a better. Oh, they have Ben Simmons. You guys can't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Shake Milton, Bojan Bogdanovic is who they got back.
That's right.
I'm
Sure he's loving it in Brooklyn.
Who else? Dorian Finney-Smith is there.
Man,
Nick
that's gonna be a
Claxton is
rough
still
year.
there.
He'll be traded.
That's going to be a rough year in Brooklyn. Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next coach.
Okay, let's see.
Tiff, can you put him up on the big screen, please?
Oh, that's
Mike Budenholzer.
Mike
what?
Booty. That's our man in Phoenix.
He is
That's-
in Phoenix.
Oh, that's right.
That's Valley Mike.
The Suns guys seem like they love Budenholzer.
I think
Everybody
that you
seems
would.
hyped by this down
Listen,
there.
man, I have been saying this since it happened. Like, this guy got Michael Malone level railroaded, where he had a very traumatic thing happen in his life where his brother died right before or during the finals or the playoffs, and they got beat
When
in
he
the
was with
first
the
round.
Bucks last year,
Yes.
yeah.
And he got very unceremoniously ushered out of town after winning a championship for them. And then now he's brought to a situation in Phoenix that desperately needs coaching.
I think,
Because
yeah.
you don't think so?
It does feel there's something funny to me about going from Frank Vogel to Mike Budenholzer. I can't.
They kind of feel similar, like they're in the same corner.
group.
Yeah, they're in the same group.
They're at that same table on one of those
Well, one
graphics.
thing is Vogel is more of a defensive guy, and this is more of an offensive guy.
Sure,
So I think
sure,
there's that part of it. Here's the thing, because it's not that I disagree with you. The problem to me with that was one of the reasons he was let go from Milwaukee was Giannis didn't like him. Him and Giannis
Yeah.
had grown apart.
Right.
And I look
Giannis
at,
wanted Adrian Griffin.
I was going to say, like, is that a good reason? Like,
well, what I'm
we've seen
saying
what's happened
is,
since.
well, what do we just say about Jordy? Sometimes you have to learn how to deal with prickly stars. Well, who's the prickliest of prickly stars in the NBA? Might be Kevin Durant. And so that's my only point is Budenholzer
sure.
a Durant guy? I don't know. I think he's a good basketball mind, and sometimes
Curious
winning
who
is
is
all.
basketball mind.
Well, from a great question, Eric, from a coaching perspective, it didn't seem to be even Steve Kerr. I mean,
I don't
Durant
think
It
there's
was
a-
especially not Steve Kerr.
Durant is a trend, but I'm saying like that's He's a
is no.
transcendent talent who I don't actually think has appeared to be like particularly coachable. I know that sounds so strong, but I just think,
Oh, he's not coachable.
I think Durant does Durant.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it could be wrong and it could work out. I do think he's a better basketball mind
I think
for
it's
that
an
team.
upgrade.
I think it's an
It's
upgrade.
Because it's not like they
Definitely an
respected
upgrade.
Vogel at all.
No, Vogel
you know?
was a disaster.
And I honestly think he is smart offensively, and that's
Yeah.
a team that's going to beat you with offense. So we'll see.
Yep. All right, our next coach. I know you're not going to get this guy.
Okay, can't wait.
Oh no,
I'm Googling.
Our next coach up on the board, Charles Lee.
Ooh, Charles Lee. Did he go to Atlanta?
No.
Did he
Same
go-
region though.
Did
Same
he
region.
go to?
Same division.
Oh boy, did he go to the Magic?
Nope.
No, you got to think
Process
worse.
of elimination
You got to
here.
think worse.
Mosley's a
Worse.
good coach. They're not going to get rid of him.
You got to think bad.
I was thinking bad. That's
gotta
You
the-
have to actually think of the most under the radar franchise
Did he
in
go to
the
the
NBA.
Hornets?
He
He
went
did
to the
go to the
Hornets.
Let's go, dude.
The
Let's
Charlotte
go.
Hornets.
Oh, Nick Rossetti screaming at his television right now.
Speaking of bad jobs,
We probably don't have to spend that much time on this.
Yeah, it
one.
doesn't
good
matter.
luck, Charles.
I'm sorry. What's his name again?
Charles Lee.
Charles
Very
Lee.
generic name.
Okay, let's go.
All right, we'll go to our next coach.
Kenny
Charlotte
Atkinson.
Charles Lee.
He's back.
Yeah,
Yes,
there
and
you
I
go.
know where he
Did
went.
a
It's a
little
good
bit of
hire.
a
So
homophone.
he, I guess,
Kenny Atkinson also in the same
you
group
know
as
this one.
Budenholzer
Yeah, that's-
and Vogel. I
Yes.
feel like.
He went to can I
The
say it?
Go
retread
ahead.
group.
Cleveland, and I think it's a very good hire.
I do too. I think he's a good coach.
He is a guy who you get if you just want to coach your guys up. You know?
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what?
Long practices, though, I bet.
He actually is in the Budenholzer school of giving terrible faces every time he's photographed. You know, Budenholzer always looks like someone farted.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a Kenny Atkinson too.
Kenny's also simultaneously on every basketball bench.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the world.
Wasn't he
Yeah,
on who was he on the Olympics?
He's on
Oh, yeah,
France. Feels like he's been an
He was- he
assistant
was a
coach
man-
for every contender.
he was a man that was born into a quarter zip.
Oh, I mean, he's just a guy who, if he's not coaching 365 days a year, he doesn't know what to do with
It's
himself.
true.
I feel like
hands,
there's two
yeah.
types of coaches though in this one way. There's the coach that like Rick Majerus and George Karl, almost overindulgent personalities, big fellas or whatever. And then there's the like, I have not had
Just
sugar in my
smoking
life.
cigarettes every day.
And Quinn Snyder is the
Yeah.
president of
Yeah,
that.
I
one.
would say
He's
yes,
in this
Quinn.
one too.
Totally.
Guarantee that guy can do a plank for 45 minutes.
Well, no, he and Quinn Snyder, you look at, you're like, those are the.
He's on the treadmill at 4 a.m. before
Totally.
practice.
But you
Yeah.
look at those guys, and you're like, those are the least healthy looking healthy guys.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
They
Yeah.
look like they're wrecked. They sleep 3 hours a night. They're rattled with
Quinn
stress.
Snyder, actually, when you see him in person, you're like, is that guy okay?
That's what I
man?
mean,
a
dude.
burrito. Yeah,
That's what I
totally.
mean, dude. All right, who else we got, man?
All right,
I know
we got
everybody.
a couple more coaches here. I think
know
we
them
got
all.
3 more. JB Bickerstaff.
JB Bickerstaff. Is
He was coaching the Cavs last year.
Did he go
I
to the
actually don't-
Bucks?
No, you got to
He
think
did
really
not
bad
go
again.
to the Bucks.
Did
no.
he? It went really
Get
bad.
down in the dirt.
Same
brother.
division, though. You're on track with the regions of the country.
Did he go to the Pistons?
Oh, that's right. I heard this one.
He
You're
did
right.
go to
The
the
Pistons.
Pistons. Yeah, he did.
It's
They
hilarious. 'cause-
fired Monty Williams. They owe him $70 million.
Shout out Monty Williams.
And now they've got JB Bickerstaff.
Honest, this is like a literal no comment.
I know. No.
Because JB Bickerstaff,
no take.
obviously, he's got to be a good coach to get this many jobs.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He just has to have he just has to have friends in the league, dude.
Actually, good counter.
There are guys that stick around that always get a job. You're like, really? Doc Rivers?
Well,
huh?
do you remember
Good.
Vinny Del Negro was in every
Yeah.
head
Well,
coach
he just had a
for
great
like a
agent.
decade?
He had a great agent. Well,
It's down to 2 people.
Wasn't there a storyline at some point last season that he was doing a good job in Cleveland? Well, I remember that as something that happened.
Could be, man.
Yeah,
Could
Jimmy
be. Hey,
Bickerstaff
another
coaching his
lifer
ass
though.
off.
Another lifer,
All
right?
right, who else we got? I know
Yeah.
all these.
We got 2 more.
2
You'll
more?
probably know this next guy.
Okay, let's find out.
JJ Redick
Oh, JJ.
of the Lakers.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, what to say about that? Their biggest offseason acquisition is a shooter that will be more impactful than D'Lo, even though they shoot from the bench.
A
Do
shooter?
you guys think it's going to be weird to see him just like in
Yes.
a suit on a sideline
Yes.
coaching
You
right
think he's
away?
going to suit up?
He'll quarter zip it.
No, I feel like he's going to suit it up.
He might suit
He
it
can't
up.
suit it up.
There's
might
no
suit
way
it.
he'll suit it
You
up.
can't.
He
I
might.
guess he's a former
JJ
player.
Redick is a rare example, and I like JJ. I hate even saying this. A rare example of like he puts on a suit and looks younger. You know, like usually you put on a suit, you look older and more distinguished. He kind of looks.
You're
JJ
opposite.
Redick,
Yeah, but-
elite hallway walk.
He goes from
Elite.
Hallway Famer?
Dude,
Elite.
Hallway
man.
Famer?
former
I walked
player.
past him one game in Denver. I almost had to like step aside and let him take the whole.
I feel like
take the whole hallway.
I feel like this is a Harrison's. We all would have different Hall of Famers here.
He had like this red suit on. I was like, damn.
Oh my God.
JJ Redick
I'm just saying, if
killing it.
JJ Redick throws on a quarter zip, he's gonna look like a strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah,
all
you're
the
right.
way.
That's
He
a
looked
great
like
take.
Harrison Wind is what he's
Yeah.
going to
They
look
won't
like.
let him in the arena.
Yeah, right. All right, who's last?
Our last coach, I didn't even know this one. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
boy.
lie.
This is a Google job.
What the? What the?
That looks like some guy named Mark.
His first name is Brian.
Close.
Brian Infansky. What is his last name?
This head coach hire is the one that's gone under the radar the most.
Well, I
I
mean,
guarantee you
yeah.
that.
Is he the
Brian
head-
Keefe.
Brian? Whoa. Is Brian Keith?
Chief Keef.
Think of actual. We've been joking about the actual forgotten basketball team. There's
Yeah.
one that is the actual forgotten basketball team of the NBA.
This is going to be difficult because I
They made
forgot
this
about
hire.
that.
And they made this hire. I think
Yeah,
they just
answer.
elevated him from interim, but nobody even talked about it.
Even Tim Conley
It,
turned
did,
him down.
it didn't even get like a minute on a podcast.
Is he the Raptors? I don't know who.
The Wizards.
Oh, damn.
That's the
Brian
most
Keefe
forgotten
on the
team I
Wizards.
think of the NBA right now.
We have dubbed them the new NBA Siberia.
They are. Yep.
This is like, I feel bad. Like, Brian got this job. He's excited. His family's excited, and no one else is excited for him. Like, good luck, brother. Good luck. You know.
I know. Yeah, you just like you show up in your first day. Hey, everyone, and everyone's just laughing at you.
There's 9 straight
This is
games.
the guy that took the job.
I hope, honestly, I hope they have a great year now. Shout out Brian Keefe.
Let's go.
Yeah, well, they're going to be terrible.
Unless he's a jerk. I don't know Brian Keefe.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
I
what if
remain
he's
neutral.
horrible?
I remain neutral on the whole Wizards matter.
All right,
Oh,
let's
man.
get the super chats here.
Oh, fun show, man.
We have 3 super chats from three
three
different
different
people.
Well, 3 different accounts.
Cedric, this is terrifying.
Yeah,
you know
gotta
this,
work on
right? Like this is
Cedric.
terrifying.
I'm gonna read these 3 though.
Also, the
Looking
chat's
back,
turning on you, Cedric. We might have to.
Cedric, we gotta moderate.
Might have to do something
We gotta
here.
moderate, brother. But I will read these 3 because thank you for the money. Looking back, OKC equals #1 threat and no Adam. Minnesota equals coin flip. I agree with you on that one. You know what? Keep them coming, Cedric.
Yeah, dude.
Charismatic, breezy.
Oh, that was a callback to a show on what, Monday?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's unbelievable how many aliases he has.
That's the terrifying part.
CB Big Leap, MPJ 8 ball in 1 year, in my opinion. Oh, MPJ plus Peyton in 1
Yeah.
year, in my opinion. Lethal
Oh, he
combo.
wasn't saying MPJ is going to do an 8-ball.
No, he was not saying
Okay.
that. PS vote. I went on a date at a WNBA game and it was boring. And no Kale, no Eric. We didn't get kicked out.
That was from Charismatic Breezy. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to this third.
You didn't
different-
watch
And
Caitlin
let's wrap
Clark
it up
play,
with
though.
DJC.
a third different person.
3v3. Vote Eric Adam versus Cedric. 5-5-5-5-ish. And Vlad. Look out.
Wait, Cedric? What is
First of
DJ
all-
Seahawk
Well,
talking about Cedric
DJ
for?
Seahawk is a fan of
Hang on.
Cedric. so
Oh,
he-
he's a fan of his.
putting the threesome of Cedric 5-5-5-5-5-ish and Vlad is incredible work.
Yeah, it actually
That's
is
I
incredible.
hope we get some
Thank you, Cedric.
diehard 3-on-3 teams in that tournament against us.
I
man.
hope so too.
I hope
Honestly,
we have some regulars. coming out
one
for
team
that.
could just be all of Cedric's personalities. That could be a 3-on-3 team. Tiff, do you see this? Is there any other show that you produce where one person super chats from multiple accounts? You don't see that. That's uncommon, you would say.
That's what sets our show apart. Some would say.
Uh-huh. Well, that happens. Yeah, you ban someone. It's definitely not super chatting. No.
All right.
Well, thank you for all the support, everyone, especially Cedric.
Thank you, everybody, and Cedric for tuning in. Tiff, thank you for producing. Fellas, thanks for
Good show, guys. Good
hanging
job,
out on this
Harrison.
Thursday. Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We all silly like the mayor.